it's Monica and Christina. We are back, and today we're going to talk about what it looks like as a parent, as an adult, to clean up your mess.
That's good. Okay, can I start off with this? This was a really big deal for me for a long time. I really struggled with the concept or the idea of cleaning up my mess with my kids.
Right.
And not to say that I didn't make mistakes, but I had this notion, this idea is really this lie in my mind that if I were to apologize to my kids, I was giving them my power.
Wow.
So isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, and so just learning different tools really helped. Really helped. So
Well, I was just going to ask actually first, like so you identified it, and then what did you do after you were able to identify the lie that you were giving away your power?
So really what I came to realize as the truth is when I'm cleaning up my mess with anybody, and I'm quick to do that with any other person, I'm not giving them my power. What I'm doing is my goal is to reconnect with them and to reconcile, be back in that place of connection and love.
Yeah.
So once I realize, okay, that's the goal with my kids, it's not giving them the power to say, okay, now you can call me out anytime I do anything else, because that's what was in my head.
Right, yeah.
But being able to go to them, approach them, and say, look, mama messed up.
Yeah.
And this is what it looks like to come to you and to say, I'm sorry I messed up. I knew I could have done it a different way. And to be honest, I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Another way to do that in love. Would you forgive me for acting like this, for being like this in this situation? And then just allowing them to say yes or no.
Right.
To be honest, because sometimes they still might be mad, and then to ask them, how did you feel in that? And building that trust, because again, it took me a long time to realize that that wasn't the way to go with my kids, to build that trust for them to be able to really speak their mind and their feelings about it. So
yeah, it reminds me of that old adage, like more is caught than taught. And so when we model humility and we model that vulnerability and even just the opportunity to clean up our mess, because that's what the Lord requires of us, right?
Yeah.
We all are going to sin, and thank God that when we do, we have our advocate, Jesus Christ, who washes that away. But there's such a beauty in recognizing, okay, when I've messed up in work, in relationships, on whatever situation, what I can do to clean up my mess would be to humble myself, apologize, take responsibility, clean whatever mess was made, right? Like kids spill milk, you're gonna want them to clean it up. Adults, we break somebody's heart, we're gonna wanna take the time to renew that trust and to connection, like you were saying. And I think it's so important that they do see that modeled in our life, and that it's not something we shed them from because we want, to keep a sense of power or authority. So good. Another thing that makes me think of is how the process of repentance is so important. An I'm sorry doesn't necessarily equate to a repentant heart. And that's something that we've really dealt with, specifically with our teenagers. It's just like, well, get off my back. I'm sorry. It's like, well, you don't look sorry, right? Have you ever done that with your kids, right? I don't feel like you're sorry. I'm sorry. What I did everything you wanted me to do. And so when we teach kids at a young age that an I'm sorry is enough, they'll grow up to not connect with empathy to the person that they wounded or to the situation, so that way they can actually rightly clean up their mess. But what needs to happen is repentance. So I'm taking responsibility for this and how it affected you. And I recognize how I treated you and how that affected you, and I'm asking you to forgive me in this. Another thing that we practice too with our kids, I actually learned it from my very good friend Jen Trier. It's not okay to say, oh, well, it's okay.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Such a big game changer, because then you're teaching kids that it's okay for you to get treated disrespectfully or yelled at or whatever. The correct response is to then say, I forgive you.
Yes.
And it makes such a game changer in teaching the value of our heart process.
Yeah, absolutely. Because once you start speaking that out, it's okay. Even as adults, then all of a sudden we feel like, oh yeah, it's okay that we're the punching bag.
Right.
No, it's not okay.
Yeah, it's not okay. But I forgive you.
I forgive you.
Yeah, and forgiveness is always a choice.
Yeah.
So good.
That is good.
Good. So we bless you guys to model humility and what it looks like to clean up your messes. And we bless you guys to fail and make mistakes,
Oh,
right?
yes.
Because
Yeah.
we're not going to be infallible in our relationship with
Yeah.
our kids.
And if anything, it's going to make your relationship stronger.
So good. Yeah. So go have at it.